All right, everyone. The other day, JD Vance, link in the description archived, of course, was talking about housing prices within the United States. He is fundamentally correct. Housing is effectively unaffordable for the average American. I would note that this is a repeat problem throughout much of the Western world, actually. It's not just the United States. Man, you should see the housing prices in the Netherlands and the amount of construction that's actually going up on a regular basis. It seems unavoidable. It doesn't matter where you go, whether you're in the Outlands or whether you're in Amsterdam, there are going to be construction cranes around. Just look at Enschede, for example. Half of the neighborhood was still under construction when I actually got there. I've never seen anything like it in my life. There's cranes everywhere, crates full of supplies and materials and stuff like that. Dudes wandering around building random crap, and most of those buildings that are being built I am not a fan, aesthetically pleasing. Just saying, I don't like the look of that particular neighborhood. And it's a whole neighborhood that's being constructed, by the way. Here in the United States, we also have the same problem. You also have it in the UK, you have it in other countries in Western Europe with a housing crisis. And the idea is very, very simple, which is the average person simply can't afford one of these houses. What are you building them for? Migrants? In some cases, the answer is yes, unfortunately. For people who are relatively wealthy, well, yeah, if you're in the upper middle class, you can probably afford one of those places. And they're not poorly built or anything like that. I mean, they look like crap on the outside, but otherwise, at the very least, you've got a roof over your head, you've got a bed to sleep in, and therefore it's perfectly fine. In the United States, though, we have a bit of a different problem in Europe, and this is something that I've noticed, having lived in the Netherlands for several years and having been to Germany and so forth, and seeing the construction and so forth that is engaged in there, you have a big problem in the Netherlands where people are moving in from other countries mainly for the banking sector more than anything else. And so you need relatively affordable but nice housing for those people. In the United States, all you need housing. The problem in the United States is regulatory more than anything else. It is much, much quicker to get a building permit and to put something up in Western Europe than it is in the United States. Now, I had always thought when I was young, when I was naive, I thought that the United States was the land of liberty and that people could do what they wanted. And so I figured, well, housing shouldn't be a problem. You make a house, you rent it out or sell it or whatever. You just make a house. Oh no, my sweet summer child. If you look at the regulations, the regulatory burden with regards to housing in the United States, it should be absolutely no, it should be, you'd be clueless if you didn't understand why it was so expensive and why it took so long. In the United States, you have to wade through paper after paper after paper getting permission from municipal groups, from the government, from the state government, from the federal government, and then possibly housing authorities and things like that. You don't have these problems in most countries. We're one of the most regulated societies in the world. People don't even understand it. America is supposed to be the land of the free and the brave, but unfortunately, it's the land of regulation more than anything else at this particular juncture. It's really, really sad. No shit, housing is unaffordable. That's because you're driving up the cost so much. The cost is artificially driven up by regulation and things of that nature. It's not because wood costs more in the United States than it does in the Netherlands or something like that. It's not because wood costs more. It's not because stone costs more. It's not because tile costs more. It's because of the enormous number of regulatory hurdles. What we need to do is deregulate the housing industry to some extent. We need to make it cheaper for people to be able to actually experience the American dream. The American dream is I have my own property. I'm my own lord, basically. I can do what I want on this piece of land and in this house that I've had erected. But that American dream is slipping away from us, unfortunately. It's becoming more of a dream for people in goddamn Europe, of all places. One of the most highly regulated, at least formerly, places in the world, Western Europe. Now the United States is more regulated, actually, in many ways. Just like during the shutdowns. When I'm in the Netherlands, nobody's wearing a mask. Nobody cares. They don't give a shit. You come back to the United States, everyone's wearing a face diaper. They still do in some cases. You're not going to see that in Europe. You're not going to, certainly not in the Netherlands. I had a great time, let me tell you. And building codes there are different from what they are in the United States. We should be taking the good ideas from other countries, other places in the world. What works? What is more efficient? What is more cost efficient? What is more time efficient? And simply works better. And we should be adapting those ideas, in my opinion, to the United States. If we can combine the efficiency of other nations, which are developed. I mean, nobody claims that the UK or the Netherlands is an undeveloped country, although there are problems there as well. If we take what works from them and adapt it to our own system, well, things would be half as expensive and twice as fast. I think that that's probably a good trade-off. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need to learn from other people in the world, like medicine from Scandinavia and stuff. They're constantly doing studies that our doctors aren't even allowed to do because the substances that they're studying are illegal in the United States. For instance, if I remember correctly, there's only one doctor in the entire United States allowed to experiment with LSD, if I remember correctly. Well, that should probably change. That should probably be fixed because it's a problem. It's holding us back. Why not be true Americans? Instead of holding ourselves back, we go whole hog. We just go in raw. We go in rough. And we do the typical American thing, which is, hey, it didn't work. Well, I'll try again. I'll try something different. That was the whole ethos behind our country. Just look at Andrew Jackson partying with the pirates that time in the War of 1812. We're a nation that's built on people being rugged, experimenting, and sometimes making mistakes. In some cases, you fail. You don't, your invention did not work. It did not cure cancer. Instead, it caused cancer. That's rather sad. But by taking those leaps and bounds and by thinking outside of the box, we're capable of literally fucking anything. The United States is an unconquerable force at this point. We just have to own up to the fact that we are. We should claim the title of empire, in my opinion, at least. Housing is a big problem. Well, think outside of the box. Why not deregulate it? Yeah, at least you've got a house. Okay, it wasn't up to the code that was created by liberals in the 1990s or something like that. Who gives a shit? It's still a house. You've still got a roof over your head. You've still got some place to sleep. I would think by lowering the cost so that more people can actually have that experience, that would be a good thing. That's about all. Peace out.